So today you join me in the Cairngorms. We are just a few miles away from Aberdeen in beautiful northern Scotland. Behind me you can see the beautiful Balmoral Castle, built in the 1850s by Prince Albert for Her Majesty Queen Victoria. So we're about to run 15 miles around the amazing Balmoral and Lochnagar Estate, so why not come with me and find out some interesting stuff? Isn't that fantastic? That was evil. Got all tingly. Where's this guy finish? More bog. You find out what you're made of. Frying bacon. Here we go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We start on the banks of the River Dee, which is the UK's highest river and really renowned for salmon fishing. So we're on a tarmac track at the moment. This estate is some 20,000 hectares, 50,000 acres, so it doesn't take long before you get up into the fabulous Cairngorms mountains. A huge amount of the estate is forestry. You can see all the pine trees here and away behind me up there. And a lot of it is managed woodland, but there's also some local Caledonian pine, and it was one of the reasons why Queen Victoria was very pleased to buy the Lochnagar Estate, because she wanted to protect it against overworking and protect it as it should be. You can see the heather on the course, which is what makes this great for game birds. And this particular area, we've just seen a sign that says Capercaillie live here, and I'm sure when we get it on the moors there'll be black grouse as well. So the route is 15 miles. We've just done the first 3 to the water station, and we've now got a loop out of about 5 or 6 miles after that back to that water station, and then we'd have another loop 5 or 6 miles up towards Lochnagar. So my target is 3 hours. I think that's realistic. So I need to do the first 5 miles quicker than an hour, because the last 5 miles are the hardest ones. That looks like a deer fence to me. Cattle don't jump and rabbits don't jump that high, so I'm imagining that's either keeping deer in or keeping deer out. Thank you! Here's one of the tributaries to the Dee, coming down from the hill and away to join the big river. Six miles, 103, so we're on target, but it's hard. So this is the Ballochbuie forest apparently, and has a lot of Caledonian pines, so I'm guessing that's what these are. And this was the part that persuaded Queen Victoria to buy the Lochnagar estate, so that it stopped unnecessary felling of these beautiful local indigenous trees. If you follow this river just a few hundred metres up the way, there's actually some quite impressive waterfalls. There's a cairn. I'll try and find out which cairn that is, but Queen Victoria placed cairns to most of her children all over this estate. I'll tell you more about it when we get towards the end, because that's where most of them are. We're now back on the Dee. This is the bit that we ran out along earlier. 7.5 miles, so halfway. And then we'll come back down to the water station and then head out onto the moors. And there's Rebecca. Thank you. Oh, we're just grabbing a walk break because it's a bit of an uphill. About a mile or so that way, you'll find a summit known as Lochnagar, and this estate is called the Lochnagar Estate, and it's the highest peak around here. And back in 1969, then Prince Charles wrote a story to entertain his two younger brothers, Andrew and Edward, called The Old Man of Lochnagar. And actually it was published in 1980, and he read it on a special children's Jackanory on the BBC in 1984. Who knew? I think the weather's closing in. Fingers crossed. Jog walk for me just now, because drizzle's coming in, and actually a little bit colder, and once the wind really starts to pick up as we get over the top here, and I think I'll get cold. So hat's gone on. Drizzle's not a problem, but it just stops the drizzle running down into my face, which annoys me, and gloves are back on to keep the fingers warm. I think this thing on the left here is called Ripe Hill. Imagining these fences are again deer proof to keep the animals away from the river, the dangerous areas. Just magnificent, isn't it? Look at that. And now away up the hill again. I'll just tell you about hills and mountains a little bit, because there seems to be no agreed height at where a hill becomes a mountain. Some say 1,000 feet, some say 2,000, some say 3,000, which is about 950 metres. But sort it all out, a couple of people have taken things into their own hands. One of them was a chap called Sir Hugh Munro, and what he did, you may have heard of people bagging a Munro. What he did was he compiled a list of all of Scotland's hills that were over 3,000 feet, which actually is 282 of them, and they're referred to as Munros. And it is now an absolute bucket list thing for people to try and bag every one of those 282 Munros. And then somebody else, Mr. Corbett, decided that hills between 2,500 and 3,000 feet could be called Corbetts. And so that's a bagging bucket list as well. And finally there's the Fionas, which is what we used to call Grahams, but somebody's put a copyright on the name Graham, so that's had to be changed. So Fionas are those that are 2,000 feet up to 2,500 feet. And there's also, and I'm not going to go into them now, there's also Donalds and Marilyns, but they need to be particular areas and 150 metres of drop either side of the summit and yada yada yada. So let's just admire their beauty. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you standing out here in the rain for us. Those marshals are doing a fantastic job standing out in the rain for us. And he said we're nearly at the top, so brilliant. I can see runners away to over there now. If you're enjoying this video, do please give it a like, give it a thumbs up. It makes me feel good and it helps YouTube share it with more runners, so that's got to be a good thing. And in case you're wondering what the next run's going to be, well, it's just 8 days from now. I'm going to be doing 14 miles around the historic southern English town of Winchester, which used to be one of England's old capitals, and that's about 450 miles that way. So if you want to see that one, you don't want to miss anything, you just want to pop the subscribe button and then click the notifications bell, you won't miss a thing. You'll get a notification when I post that video. Still got a couple of miles to go, so best get my head down. So about 13 miles according to them, but only 12.5 according to me. And we're mostly downhill from here. Well, I believe we have to go up and over that forest there. I think that's what's protecting Balmoral from the worst of the winds from Loch na Garr. So they talked about a sting in the tail, and I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. Whee. Thank you, Marshall. So we're getting back to the castle grounds now, and Queen Victoria stuck up a bunch of cairns in this area. I think I mentioned it at the beginning. Thanks, Marshall. Thank you. And these cairns, I don't know if we'll see any, but I'm about to walk. These cairns were one for each of her children for various reasons. I think to commemorate them getting married, and most of them married into the other crowned families of Europe. I can't be bothered to get my piece of soggy paper out and read it, so I'll pop up a map I've done and show you where they all are. What is it about run organisers that they like to put mud and hills right at the end?
Come on, let's go!
The cheer squad. So quite tricky downhill here. Thanks fella. Oh. There's quite a few rocks sticking out of the ground, so it's nice soft stuff, but if you just catch a spiky rock it's a little bit tender on the old feet. And here's the River Dee.
Really well.
Wouldn't do to fall just here, would it?
Yeah.
Cheers guys. This lady's been great. She's been just ahead of me for about the last 6 miles. And every time I felt like having a walk I thought, keep on, and then she left me on that last big hill. And clearly I've caught up a little bit, so that's nice. And just here we should see the castle come into view. Last bit. They're just doing the prizes for the Demon of Deeside. Thanks guys. Ooh, here we go.
Well done, well done.
Of Deeside men's champion with a sensational total of 3 hours, 49 minutes and 17 seconds.
Bless you, thank you. Oh, magic.
He is a 3 times champion.
Ooh, there we go.
Milton.
Well done, fantastic effort today.
Thank you, mate. Oh. There we go. Run Balmoral. Done. 15 wonderful miles. A little bit challenging, which is perfect for me. Don't want it too easy, but don't want it too hard, and that was brilliant. Heading back to the car to get warm before my fingers turn white. Tucking into a brownie. There didn't seem to be bottles of water in it at the end, which is a bit odd. But we got a t-shirt. So right, now back to the car, head back to the hotel and consume vast quantities of food. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon.